Here we are at 5c from our 4.5 set of notes. We're asked to solve this value for x. And we notice that we have a lot of different operations kind of going around this binomial. But our goal is to get that by itself. Now, again, we have those values around it. So what we're going to do are those inverse operations to help isolate it. So we'll start off by adding 9 to both sides. And when we do that, we're left with 3/4 times 2x plus 3 squared equals, on the right side, we end up with 36. Well, now we have this coefficient right here that we're going to need to get rid of. So we're going to go ahead and multiply that by the reciprocal on both sides. You could divide it, but the reciprocal is a little bit easier. And when we do that, this 4 is going to cancel with this 4. This 3 is going to cancel with this 3, leaving us our 2x plus 3, quantity squared, equals, on the right side, 3 goes into 36 12 times. And so that 12 times the 4 in the numerator is going to give us 48. Okay. Now that we have our binomial squared kind of isolated on the left side, we can go ahead and apply our square root. Notice how before that I haven't included any plus minus. It's only now when I apply my square root that I start to introduce that plus minus on both sides. Or I'm sorry, on the right side. Now for 48, we're going to break that down into a good and a garbage, where 16 is our biggest perfect square that we're going to divide it by, and 3 is in the garbage. And then we have our 2x plus 3 equals plus or minus. The square root of 16 is 4. Garbage just drops. Just going to go ahead and copy it up over here so we got some more space. Okay. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do is we still want to solve for x. We want him by himself. Well, this 3 really has nothing to do with it, so we're going to go ahead and subtract it over. Here it cancels, leaving us with 2x equals. Now, again, we cannot combine these because they are not considered like terms. So what we're going to do is just leave it as -3 plus or minus the 4 square root of 3. And then lastly, to get x by itself, we're going to divide both sides by that coefficient of 2. So here it cancels, leaving us with x equals -3 plus or minus 4 square root of 3 all over 2. Now, personally, I'm a big fan of just seeing it like that, but standardized assessments and some teachers or solutions guides, whatever, they might show it differently. They're just going to separate it. So in other words, if I was to show it where it's more like this, where you can use that butterfly method that we've talked about, where it's -3 over 2, and then plus, I'm just doing the positive version for this one, you would divide the outside number with the outside number. So 4 divided by 2 is 2 square root of 3. It could look like that, and then obviously the other version, -3/2 minus 2 square root of 3. Notice how I only divided the outside numbers, right? I didn't include that 3 divided by that 2. It's just the outside with the outside numbers. So it could look like that, I'm saying. But if you're showing your work on your homework and you showed it like we did before, where it was just all one fraction, I would take that all day. And most math teachers, I would assume, would take that as well. I mean, I can't imagine them not showing and taking that. So again, if you leave it like that, you should be fine. Okay. If on the other hand, though, let's say, for example, this -3 was in actuality like let's just say it was a -6. Okay. You would be expected, if you're going to leave it as one fraction, you would be expected to simplify that fraction though. Okay. And so then as a result, you'd get -3 plus minus 2 square root of 3, okay? So you would be expected to do that, though, all right? But if you can for one of them but can't for the other, like we currently had right there, then that's fine. You can leave it like that, okay? But again, though, that is example 5C. I would definitely know how to do that one. It's going to be really handy for the future, especially when you guys are in later high school. So If you understand that full process, awesome. You're going to be in great shape for later on, okay? Again, though, that is example 5C from our 4.5 set of notes.